It is 8:01, so we're 1 minute late for Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
How
How are
are
you
you?
doing tonight?
I'm doing great. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, this is incredible what I've heard. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Um, so unlike the musicians that you've heard prior to me, I'm actually a photographer. So I'm going to share some of my music photography I do tonight and a little bit of some of the other photography I do with everyone. So my name's Chris Sikich. I've been photographing live music in a semi-professional way. It's a secondary job. I'm actually a high school teacher by trade, high school biology teacher, but since 2011. So at nights, I would go to shows and shoot as much as I can. I miss that now, of course, but obviously it's necessary. And I'll show you my website in a moment. That'll be the way I'll share my photos with everyone tonight. So I'll just explain a little bit of what I look for when I photograph. I try to catch moments that might be the unusual moment, maybe, of a performance. I also like to catch how color and sound can kind of come out in an image. So the color of lighting, the sound from the performer, and it can be very challenging sometimes. Oftentimes, as a photographer, we're only given 3 songs to shoot if it's at certain types of venues. And so sometimes that's very challenging, and there's a lot to get out of that challenge. And then one of the other passions I've gotten out of doing the live music photography is doing portraiture with performers. And sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. But actually, within this moment now of the COVID-19, I began a project kind of mimicking what I've seen some other people do across the country and the world. And I've been taking portraits of musicians outside of their homes, obviously at a socially distanced area. And then they share a statement, however they want to share it, about what's going on with them as an artist right now during this time. And this is published on Magnet Magazine's website. The title was given by my editor. It comes from a Guided by Voices song called Isolation Drills. That's what we call it. So that's been a lot of fun and challenging to do right now. I think it'd be better just to share my art with you. So I guess I'm going to hit share screen. I've never done this with Zoom before. I assume it's going to be pretty obvious. Oh, okay. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you can see my website right now, correct? Yeah. Okay, so I'll just talk about some photos. I'll just share some of my favorite images I've captured and just talk a little bit about my passion as a photographer for them. I'll begin with this image, which to me might be my favorite live image I've ever caught back in 2016, Florence and the Machine. And this is just within the lighting of that night. I mean, she's a very dynamic performer. If any of you are familiar with her at all, incredible musician, but she runs around the stage a lot. And this image kind of captures her within that moment of movement. There's a couple of really great silhouettes I've been lucky enough to capture. This, of course, captures the haircut at one point of the weekend, but kind of this perfect silhouette moment. And this of U2 a couple years ago at the beginning of a show. So if some images I love to capture, if I can, are the moments of stillness among the motion. So it's the motion and the stillness, and sometimes I try to capture something in between. Also, which can be seen here with PJ Harvey extending her arm out. So I don't have a ton of time to talk, so I'll just talk about a few more favorites. I do like to play around with some tricks in camera. So double exposure is one. So this is Phoebe Bridgers at World Cafe Live a couple years ago, capturing a double exposure moment of her. So her in the stillness with the guitar and these lights she had around her microphone, kind of bringing them out to pop out color-wise. This is another one of my favorite images, First Aid Kit, a wonderful band from, I'm pretty sure, Sweden. I may be wrong, and I'm sorry if I am, or yeah, I think so. So just defying gravity here. So motion and stillness kind of at one. So in the last year or so, I use prisms a little bit, if I can, and it's a lot of trial and error. This image is an example of it working out very well. So this is Matt Berninger of the National, taken from a distance, and the color kind of went through and created this slight double image of him that I thought turned out very well. Usually I don't like images that are not sharp, at least for me. This of Patti Smith, one of my favorite performers, in the midst of just a moment after sharing her punk rage and peace at the same time with people. I will talk about, so one other thing I've been working with this year is a certain filter you can add to a camera, which adds light diffraction. So this is of the Australian performer Courtney Barnett. So light happened to catch her guitar at the right moment to capture this color diffraction. None of this is added like in Photoshop or anything. I mean, this is light hitting that, coming out, and she's quite a performer to see. So I'll share a couple of the portraits that I've done for isolation drills. I've actually done 22 so far, and there's more on the horizon. And those of you tonight, I'll just pitch it out to you. If you're interested, I'll say you can reach out to me and we can set up a time. It's only if you're comfortable. So this is Adam Weiner, better known as Low Cut Connie. So he does these, since COVID-19's been going on, he's been doing shows, obviously from his home. And so I got to shoot him pre-show, and then I walked around, and then during the show, he wears this robe, and then he came out afterwards. So this is the socially distanced, one of the socially distanced portraits of him I got. I will share another one. I got two that I'm very pleased with. And I could talk for hours, maybe to my detriment about some of these, but so where is she? Sorry about this. So my Instagram handle's @countfeed, COUNTFEED, after my favorite REM song of all time, which is the reason I photograph, Country Feedback. Where's the image? I feel like I apologize for this. If I have to go to my other site, I will. There we go. So here's another one I captured of Joy Ike a couple of weeks ago outside, also for the isolation drills. So beyond the live music photography and the portraiture, there's one, I do love capturing nature shots, but there's something I've really gotten into doing. I really love sunsets and trees, spring color. So I'll do these reflection images. So this is with a little added trickery. So take them with an iPhone, and there's an app called Layout where I kind of mirror. So these are these abstractions I've been working quite a bit with, usually through nature, to try to extract something else from nature that may not initially be apparent to a viewer. And this is something I've been doing for a while with decent success. Again, it's all about trial and error. And like when I was sharing the double exposures and the prismatic effects, I mean, there's, I could take hundreds upon hundreds of shots a night and only one or two come out in any way that you're happy with. And I've been self-trained in doing this, and it's just all about trial and error. I'm not sure if there's much more. I feel like I've jumped around so much. And not all of these, I will just mention briefly, so not all of them are DSLR shots. I mean, some of them are with luck of other moments. So if one does get to shoot Bruce Springsteen professionally, which I've had the opportunity to twice, you're at a great distance, and you usually have to rent an extra long lens if you don't have one. But one night when I happened to see him, I got lucky enough to be very close, and this was taken with a point and shoot at Wrigley Field within a moment kind of ecstasy at the end that kind of exemplifies part of what the crowd might get out of Bruce Springsteen. So just to show that. And these shots come from quite a bit over the years. I've been doing this since 2011. This shot anymore, I can't even remember. So 2013, certainly one of my favorite rock bands, Screaming Females. Just this moment, where the lead singer, Marissa Paternoster, who really is just like in a trance-like state when she's performing quite a bit, just the moment taking her over there. So I don't know if there's much more I can say. I again can push this. So my website, sikichphotography.com, my Instagram account feed, and that's also my Twitter handle. And again, if you are interested, and this is another example of one of the isolation drills, one that was just posted today of Jesse Gimbel. If you're interested in taking part in that, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I'll reach out to individuals as well, because I love to get as many voices as possible out there for this. So I'll do that. So
cool.
Thank you again for having me.
Where are you located, or do you travel around Philly to take these?
Yeah, so I'm around 3rd and South. So the weird thing about this has been, for the isolation drills, is originally it was Philadelphia based, and that's the idea. But some performers I've reached out to that say Philadelphia are as far away as Phoenixville. And it's not like I've told someone no. So I've driven to Phoenixville and Chester Springs. It's not really in keeping with some of this, but I'm only there for 10 or 15 minutes to do this. Yeah. And if you do look at the links posted through Magnet, if you look it up, you'll see how the artists have written, and there's lots of things how people are sharing, and I've been encouraging people to just go in whatever direction they can. So thanks again for having me. I greatly appreciate being a part of this, this great open mic for Philadelphia here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
it's great to finally hear. I feel like I've seen you in a bunch of like photo pits, but it's
yeah. I mean, we were at Sudan Archives together. I didn't say hello to you that night. It's very weird that may be the last live show like that that we may experience for a long time. I may even wonder if photography is going to be allowed that much. I mean, it's going to be tough at live shows,
It's going to be very interesting. And like, what are the first live shows going to look like?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I will say there's one thing some performers are doing, which I think they're going to have to do to make some money, but I think it's a great idea. So some performers are charging, like there's some platforms where you can charge so they can watch you like perform an album or something. And I think that's probably going to be a gateway. And I'm glad they're starting that now, because I don't know how else this is going to work, because all these free, you know, Instagram streams, I mean, they're great. All of us love watching them, but people may not be donating or buying stuff when they're doing that. So it's that's probably one of the ways, I guess, it would work. I don't know. But
Yeah.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, and thanks for talking, and beautiful pictures. I've liked
Thank
them.
you so much. And I'm a fan of your work, certainly, too. And I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Yeah, thanks a lot.